Hello everybody, my name is Lucy and welcome to Books and Brushes. So today I'm doing the Reading Rush tag that Ariel Bassett just posted. I already filmed and should have posted by now my TBR for the Reading Rush, but I hadn't done the questions, so I thought I'd just pop in and do this little mini tag video to do the questions for that, which I should post on the first day of the Reading Rush. This is a couple days before. I'm filming this on the Monday, just so you know. And let's get into the questions. Question 1 is, how's your reading going while staying at home? Well, this is always my life. Corona hasn't done much to me, I'm afraid. I work from home anyway, so it hasn't really affected my reading at all because I'm still working from home during the day. I have the exact amount of reading time as I always would, and I'm reading at home, just like I always would. February and March weren't the best reading months. I only had 2 books each, but this month in April I'm doing so much better already. I'm on my 4th book and I ain't even halfway through April, so go me. Last year's April in 2019 I read like 1 book, so that's great. But yeah, my reading is going exactly the same as it was before. I'm sorry if that's not an interesting answer, but it's the truth. Similarly with where am I reading? In bed, as always, same. Reading in bed is where I'm the most comfy, it's where I'm the most happy. I like reading in bed, and it stayed the same. The third question is the best book I've read in self-isolation. Now I have to think about when self-isolation started. Mid-March-ish? I've got a couple of contenders for this one. I've got 2 that I've thoroughly enjoyed while reading in quarantine at the moment, and that is Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman. I already talked about this in my March wrap-up, so if you want to hear some more of my thoughts on that, you can go watch that video. I absolutely love this book. As you know, I love Neil Schusterman, and this was everything. It was great. We all knew that would happen. No surprises. So I really loved reading this one. And more recently I have not wrapped this up yet because it's an April read, and that is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Yes, I finally got around to this duology. I'm counting This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. I just can't be asked to hold up both of them. You understand? I have thoroughly enjoyed this duology. I literally have so much love and things to say about it, but I don't really want to go on about it right now, so you can wait for the April wrap-up to hear my thoughts on these. But just know that I really loved them, and I'm so glad I managed to pick them up. Now I understand the hype of Victoria Schwab. I get it. I understand. I'm joining the club. Question 4 is, what is your favourite feel-good book? I'm really confused by these kind of questions because does my favourite book count as a feel-good book? Even if that book is a dystopian? Does feel good mean like contemporary and fluffy and like romantic and stuff, or does it mean just your favourite book? I never know what that question means. If I have a favourite book but it's about death and killing and dying and horrible dark themes, does that make it a feel good book because I enjoy it? Am I a sadist? No one knows. I'm not, by the way. I'm trying to think of a happy, fluffy book I like, but I just don't really read that kind of stuff. So, Harry Potter? That's feel good, right? For this one, I think I've picked one. I could have gone with Harry Potter, but I thought far too obvious. So I picked Michael McIntyre's Life and Laughing. I could have honestly picked any of my comedian autobiographies. I could have done the Miranda Hart, I could have done Lily Evans, but I went with Michael, and every time I've ever read this book in the past, I've come out of it feeling so just happy and joyous and full of life. I find that a lot with especially comedian biographies. They're always so like life-affirming and funny and just, they feel good, so I think that counts. And there's not, you know, as much death and killing and murder and stuff, so. The 5th question, now I really like this one. What is a book that you wish you could buy or borrow from the library? Now, I've thought about this one and I think I've come up with a really fun one. Well, depends on your definition of fun. I was thinking it would be really great right now to pick up the Anne Frank's diary. I think that would be so interesting right now. I know some people are probably going to go, well, that's morbid. Especially in these times that we're living in now where we're all like quarantined and self-isolated at home. And I've been thinking a lot about it recently, about Anne Frank and how she was trapped in a small shoebox of a room with like 7 people for 2 years trying not to make a sound. And when you put it that way, a couple of months in isolation don't seem so bad, does it? I just thought, especially with the times we're living in now where we're forced to stay inside, it would be such an interesting read to read the diary of Anne Frank, to know what it was like for her to have stayed inside, and that fear and that confusion. And I've like watched that Anne Frank movie, and I know quite a lot about Anne Frank, but I've never actually sat down and read the diary. So I thought that would be a really interesting, and especially to relate what's happening right now in the world, it would be such an interesting introspective and look on things, and like I said, make us feel a bit less like, come on guys, this child was able to do it and so can we. Things can always be a lot worse, and I know that's so easy to say and it doesn't make things any better, but I just thought that would be a really interesting book to read right now, and I really want to pick it up, but I don't want to put anyone at risk just to bring me that book. So I'll wait till after this crisis blows over, but I'd really love to get my hands on that book right now. Does anyone else think that would be an interesting read, or am I just loopy? Probably loopy, but just let me know. Question 6, I think we're on 6, I've lost track of all numbers, is there an author that you'd like to shout out during this time? And I haven't prepared any, but we'll see. I've got a few indie authors that I know of off the top of my head. So we got Suzanne Kane Quinn, Laura Tisdale, Keith Ward, Gemma Lawrence, to name a few that I can remember. Also, I'm always a big advocate for Jenna Moreci. Absolutely love that woman. She's got her new book of The Saviour's Sister coming out, which is the sequel to The Saviour's Champion, which is an amazing book if you've never read it. She's a complete indie author, a very successful one, but a complete indie author, and she could really use the hype with the new book, so she's a great one. And also she does a lot of like unboxings, and people send her a lot of their own books that they published from her advice. So if you're looking for like a really indie author that's like new to the game and you really want to support like fresh new self-published authors, go to Jenna Moreci's channel and like watch her unboxings, and you'd get tons of ideas for people who've like sent in their books. Just support people where you can. It doesn't matter how you support them. It doesn't matter if they're a publishing house or indie or whatever. If you want to support the book industry, you can do that. And even if you're not like buying books in this time, because I can understand the want to not buy books or the lack of funds to buy books, you can always support them with like help hyping up their releases. Like say if they're releasing a new book on Instagram, you can shout it out and say, look how gorgeous this cover is. And there is always ways to support like authors during this time. There's plenty of ways you can do that even if you haven't got the funds for it. And that is the last question. Well, technically the next question is, what is your Reading Rush TBR? But you've already seen that yesterday, I hope, and if not, you can go and watch that video and see my TBR, which was probably drastically changed by now already, but you'll find out. Thank you so much for watching this little Reading Rush TBR update. I know I wasn't expecting this part, so I did the TBR like ahead of time. I was an eager beaver, and now I'm doing just the tag on as well. So I hope you're having a great reading rush, because this should be going up on the first day. I hope you're reading lots, and if you're not, if you're struggling, or if there's too much to do, calm down. Don't stress too much. It's supposed to be fun. You can do this. Just read what you can and enjoy yourself. That's the main part of it. So have a great reading, and I will see you in the next video.